Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Messages of Inspirational Stories is proudly brought to you by our sponsor, the 6-Minute Webinar. You can see the website right there, 6-Minute Webinar. This week, we're continuing on with part 3 of Homeschooling Week. I'm joined today by Mikayla Vidal, get my tongue going here. And she works with us behind the scenes with our social media, and we were able to sweet talk her to join me today as a host because she's got a lot of good information. And Monday's show, I'm going to talk a little bit about Monday's show and then last week's show for those of you that's tuning in, because got a lot of new viewers. Monday's show with Howard Berg. Oh my goodness. Howard Berg, let me tell you a little bit about him. I'm going to let you talk about it, Mikayla, because you saw the show and all. Howard, in 1990, he was entered into the Guinness Book of Records for being the world's fastest reader. He was officially recorded at 25,000 words a minute. Whoa. Plus, on top of that, Mikayla, he can actually write 100 words per minute. And in fact, Howard's such a good friend of ours. He's going to be on tomorrow. Let me just put his website up there because Howard was tremendous. We're going to talk in just a moment about some of the things that he covered on Monday's show. You mentioned before the show that you liked the way he did the number thing.
Mm-hmm. The memory, the speed memory, the technique to speed memory. Mm-hmm.
0 through 9, but he says 1 will stand for pole. Think of a power pole. 2 would be for your shoes, 1 on each feet. 3 would be for a tricycle, 3 wheels. 4 would be a car with 4 wheels. 5 would be a glove. 6 would be a 6-shooter, a gun. 7 would be dice. 8 would be, what do you say it was? Let me see here. I got my notes of him.
8 was skate.
8 rhymes with skate. Thank you. Thank you, Mikayla. And 9, a cat has 9 lives, and 10, there's 10 bowling pins. And what he says, let's say, Jim, you were staying in a hotel someplace and your room was 314. He says, if you just made a mental note when you left there, 3 would be tricycle, 1 would be pole, and 4 would be car. He says that
he
way.
Made a little story.
Yeah, make a little story out of it. That's right. And Mikayla, he gave some great clues when you're reading a book or a chapter. Do you remember the one he said, go to first or go in the back?
To read the questions, which when I was in school, the teacher always said to do that, but they never explained why. So now I have an answer when I tell the kids to do that as to why you should do that. And it's because, 1, it prevents you from reading it the whole thing over again. And then you know what you're reading. You know what the goal that the reader wants you to know. Yeah,
exactly. Because normally what the kids normally do, ladies and gentlemen, they're reading through there and then they get to the back and you see these questions. They go like, I don't remember that. You know, That was me in school. And then going back and searching for it. How does that make you feel, Mikayla, when you got to go back and search for something that you...
It's very time consuming.
You also feel very frustrated too. And that is one of the keys that Howard Berg has developed. He's got these reading programs. If you go to berglearning.com, in fact, I've got his window open here. Let me just take a look here. The different courses he's got speed reading at the professional level, speed reading for students, speed reading for kids. He's got a memory training course, a mind math course, and a learning genius bundle, whatever that is, because I don't qualify for the genius level, so I don't have to worry about that one. But everything that he does, it's aimed at to make learning fun.
And that's really important.
Yes,
you have a lot of years of learning.
Oh, yeah. Because whenever kids are learning, and of course, you're a mother, you've got 6 kids all together between you and your husband, and you got a whole house full. But when you can make learning fun for one of your kids, How does that, what have you observed? Just share that with us, please.
Well, it decreases frustration in yourself and the child, and then they feel a sense of, accomplishment when they
Yeah.
can, figure things out. Because I know it depends on the child too.
Mhm.
Some of mine get really frustrated if they don't learn it the first time. Um, and a lot of kids really don't grasp things if they're not really engaged and interested. So trying to make anything fun makes it fun
Mhm.
for you and them.
Yeah.
So that's what I've experienced.
Yeah. Because when I was growing up, being a overly intelligent teenager in the 60s and a dumb kid in the 50s, when I thought of homework, ah, got homework. That was a boring chore. So
Hmm.
let me ask you a question, Mikayla. What do you think, how much I got out of that by, even if I did it, which I did most of the time, to be honest, a few times I didn't, but how do you think I felt going in and did, just give me your opinion if that's the way that I observed it or looked at it.
If you're not doing homework,
No, but my attitude of, oh, it's a chore, something I gotta
oh yeah,
do.
yeah. I would say I felt the same way. Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I did never really do half my homework. I really didn't. Because you're going through school for what, average 7 hours a day, and then
Hmm.
they expect you to go home and do homework, and then
Hmm.
you just want to have free time. Although they
Yeah.
think it's supposed to help you review what you went over throughout the day, a lot of times it can, at least to me, it cause a lot of more frustration because
Hmm.
especially now, the way that your parents were taught things and how you're taught things now is not the same.
Oh, yeah.
So you're having to teach your parents what you're learning, and then they're confused. So it's really not homework, it's a whole new school lesson.
Oh, yeah. And Howard was talking about one particular kid, and he's had several children that's had ADD.
Hmm.
And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Mikayla, but I believe he said that that little girl was told that the best she'll be able to do in life was to be a work at Walmart and say,
Hmm.
"Welcome to Walmart."
Yep. And we're past that.
Skyrocketed past that
Yes.
because he
Hmm.
explained how with his learning techniques, he was able to bypass that part of the brain
Hmm.
where the ADD lived, if I can use that term, and woke up the brilliant side of that young lady. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know she got a master's degree from college, but I
She did
think it
really
was,
good.
yeah, and it was in a very short period of time because most of his college students, they complete college in 2 years.
Hmm.
And he teaches very good basic. And Howard is such a nice guy. Let me put his email address up there because if you're wondering about homeschooling or something like that, you can contact Howard at howardberglearning.com. Howard is a gentleman that he just now wants to give back.
Right.
And he loves to answer questions for people. He loves to be able to help people make the right decision for them. Because,
Hmm.
Mikayla, there's a lot of myths out there about homeschooling, isn't there?
Oh yeah. There's a top 10.
Top 10, would you share some with us, please?
Sure. Number one is that a lot of homeschoolers don't go to college. And I really don't. I mean, I don't know where it comes from, but I also have heard that not kids, parents don't think that they get a high school diploma. And I actually learned something that there's something called an accredited diploma and then a
Hmm.
non-accredited diploma.
Hmm.
But with either one, you can still go to college, and actually, kids who are homeschooled have higher test grades than people that go to public school.
Yes, I remember Evelyn, my wife, telling me when she was in school, the kids that attended parochial school, I think it was grades 1 through 8. I could be wrong, but they came into junior high or high school and they were head and shoulders above the kids in the public school.
Right.
And so that personalized training, and as a parent, if you make learning fun, oh my
Yes.
goodness gracious, then you're on the downhill side. Because think back at anything you've ever done, being learning something and it's fun, time flies,
Mm-hmm.
and you really feel joy and jubilee on the inside because you are accomplishing something.
Right.
And I remember back when I was a kid in grade school, I'm not knocking any of my teachers because, after all, look who they had to deal with. But going to school, um, one morning, my brother was the bus driver. Back in the 50s, it was common for high school kids to drive the school bus.
Mm-hmm.
And shall I say, my brother Ben accidentally on purpose stuck that bus. And what do you think the reaction was on that bus with all of us kids?
Oh, I would have been excited.
Oh, yeah, joy and jubilee. Everybody was so excited that nobody snitched him off and said he personally stuck it. And
He did them a favor.
yeah, he did us all a favor. But that's some of the hangups that kids experience in the public school. They don't get that personalized training that they
And
get in homeschool.
that's really important. Mm-hmm.
Yes, especially when the parent can make it fun and knows how to make it fun, and the joy
Yep.
and the
Because
jubilee of accomplishment from the kid. That's what
mm-hmm.
really turns them on to learning, gives them a desire to learn, and it's not a deal where, okay, mom called me, I got to go in there and study history.
Right.
So you mentioned one of the myths. What is one of the other myths, please?
Another one is that a lot of people don't homeschool. And that may have been true years and years ago, but back in 2016, there were 1.69 million people that were homeschooled. And back in 2019, it was 2.5 million
Mm-hmm.
students. And not shockingly, by 2020, over 9 million
Oh
students
yeah,
were homeschooled at least one
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah, we understand what went on in 2020. I mean, you go to the grocery
Yeah.
store, the first thing you do when you get out of the car was jet pack it to the toilet paper aisle.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just the way our world turned then. But it's really amazing that there are so many families out there. They're looking for a higher quality education for their children.
Yeah.
And it's just a tremendous blessing to be able to help a kid learn and to see them develop. Think about the rapport, the rapport that the parent and the child will have if the child is excelling and learning is fun, as
Hmm.
opposed to the traditional way, I'll say it. Like when I came home, I use myself as an example. My mother would ask me about my homework, and yeah, it's over here. Let me look at it. And it looked like a cat scratched it with a pen or something. And it was not never pleasant for me. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
And you said there's some other myths there. Would you like to mention them, please? Mention one, please.
Mhm. Another one is that your kids who are homeschooled won't socialize with other kids. And
Mm,
this is really up to the parent because I mean, there's other people around you that you probably don't realize homeschool. You can join homeschool groups, so you can talk to other parents, and you can. Homeschooling does open up your schedule.
mhm.
I think people think that it's a set schedule, and it's really not. There are some kids who do school for 3 hours, and they have the rest of the day to go do sports, go to the park. I mean,
Wow.
it's an open book.
Yeah. That would be really attractive for a kid that's learning some great, having fun learning, number one, and
Hmm.
feeling the feeling of accomplishment, and then being able to go out and enjoy their days, part of their day. That would be tremendous. But there's also, we need to point out there's also every state has state laws that govern homeschooling. I think you
Yes.
looked into that, didn't you? Would you share that with us, please?
Yes, every state, homeschooling is legal in the United States in every state. You just have to check with um, your specific state's laws and regulations because some states, I don't know specifically which ones, but some are more regulated on their
Hmm.
schooling. And it also depends on the curriculum because there's more than one curriculum for homeschooling. There's a lot.
Hmm.
So because parents can do it on their own. You can also do it online where you like pay for the course and somebody teaches them online. I mean, there's a whole different varieties of types of homeschooling.
Hmm. Absolutely. As you were talking, I was thinking back what you said earlier. Thought came to my mind about imagine, because the virtual world is here to stay. And the virtual world, I mean, can you imagine two or three moms getting together on Zoom or whatever and their kids and having a little bit of a quiz or whatever just for fun?
Mhm.
I mean, that would really, that'd really be a lot of fun, wouldn't it?
It would.
Hmm.
It gets everybody involved, and
Hmm.
um, I don't know. I think honestly, if I could homeschool my kids, I definitely would, but I don't think I have the patience.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, don't feel bad because when it comes to patient, that comes with age. Because I remember my daughter Lisa was talking to me one time when I was visiting my grandkids, and she says, "Dad, you're a lot smart, a lot more patient with them than you were with me and James." And I said, "Well, these little kids are not as aggravating as you and James." At least that's the best answer I could come up with, folks. And what are some of the other misconceptions about homeschooling that you found?
There are two that kind of play a role together. It's
Hmm.
that your kids won't have a good education when they
Oh,
won't learn
yeah.
as much. And that kind of plays together with uh, you as a parent feel like you won't be able to teach them, that you're not qualified enough.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I could see that because if a
Mhm.
parent's going in and thinking, how can I homeschool my kids? I'm not a qualified teacher. I've never been certified as a teacher, anything like that. But that's where you do research online. There's a lot of people out there that in Parents Magazine, parents.com, and I'm trying to, there's buku sites on the internet where you can get good information. You can talk directly to
Mhm.
parents, men and women, that have
Yep.
homeschooled their kids. They can tell you, well, they can do, like I like to say, what went well and the lessons learned. Okay.
Right.
And they can help you with a lot. And so could Howard Berg, our good friend. He's going to be on tomorrow with me and
Hmm.
Donna. And he's going to be talking how to make writing fun because that guy can write over 100 words a minute. And we're not talking shorthand.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he may be the only person can read it, but that's true with any
That's
a
all that
lot of people's
matters.
writings. Yeah, you know,
Right.
and
That's true.
but the main thing about any type of teaching, homeschooling, or anything, it's got to be founded in two things. One is love, and the other one is fun.
Yes.
Because all of us are social creatures. Our most common thing that we desire in life is to be loved.
Hmm.
Because once we love ourselves, then we're in perfect harmony with the universe. That's been proven many,
Yeah.
many times. And so when you love your kids and you make learning fun, it's a win-win situation. Even if they're attending public school, you can still enhance their learning in
Definitely.
school if you add to it with clarity and add fun. That fun thing,
110%.
yeah, that fun thing just can't go away. I can't say it enough. And do you have another myth there we want to discuss or share?
Yeah. Another one is that kids will sit at home all day. And yes and no, maybe for a few hours while they're learning, but
Mhm.
you set the schedule. If your kid, honestly, I would say that listen to your child. There are some days that, I mean, even if you go to public school, some days you have good days, some days you're more tired, some days you just really don't want to learn. You have an open schedule. If you need to take a break, take a nap. the opportunity is there. You can go outside. I mean, you can do it in the car. If you have a doctor's appointment, you can do school there. You can do it at the park. I mean,
Mhm.
you can work anywhere. And I think that's a
That's
really good
really
thing about it.
important because some kids' attention spans may be 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes. And honestly, I think it's proven that
Mhm.
kids, they really don't, it depends on age, but by their age, I think it goes up to like 10 minutes. You should only work on a certain subject because after
Mhm.
that, they don't even listen.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have the
Mhm.
6 minute webinar. You can see our link down there, 6 minute webinar to be able to introduce a person to a product and share the three key things about that product that will change a person's life and with a call to action in 6 minutes.
Mhm.
Because the old school way of doing webinars, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, an hour and a half,
You get tired.
nobody, oh, they're going to, mentally float away on you. They'll be sitting there looking
Yep.
at their phone. And I
Oh, I
saw
remember
that.
the first
Yeah.
few minutes.
Yeah. I saw that when I was at, different places like Orlando. I was on stage there and this guy was going on for an hour and a half and people were sitting there and they're in Zombieville. Half of them were in orbit around Jupiter because your
Yeah.
attention span, people want to be led. And your child, I really believe this, every child wants to learn. Every child
Yes.
wants to see the little bite-sized bites of information. Hey, I'm accomplishing something
That's why
because
they
that's,
ask so many questions.
oh yeah, yeah. And that's critical because little wins always equal a big win.
Yes.
Because I know
Especially to
you,
them.
yeah, and I know you do a lot of stuff on TikTok and you make cookies with
Mhm.
your kids and all that. And share with us a little bit how that what you do there and the benefit in the kids. Of course, they're enjoying helping you, but they're also enjoying the end
Oh,
result.
yeah. Yeah, so, I have 6, so a lot of them are smaller, so only 2 of them are school age, so, I teach at home, I guess, the little ones, and like I said, every kid learns differently, and one of mine, after 1 minute, she doesn't wanna pay attention, she's wondering about something that happened 2 weeks ago. The other one gets super frustrated, and it kinda frustrates me, but the last thing I wanna do is be frustrated with her because then it's gonna make her more frustrated. So
Hmm.
I just decided let's kind of find some ways to make this more fun. And honestly, they remember more when you make it fun. They really
Oh
do.
yeah,
They tell me all the time, and they'll tell random people like, "This is what we did today." And it's not only that they did it and they learned something, but that they're helping. Kids love to help, and a lot of times, even I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I'm just like, "I don't need your help. I don't need your help," but they love to help.
yeah.
Sometimes they're in the way, but when you can make something fun for them to learn,
Hmm.
it makes all the difference, especially as a parent, because you see them learning something
Yeah.
successfully. It's fun for you, it's time spent with your kids. It's a win in a whole bunch of different areas.
Oh yeah. And that means a lot to the kids because kids like to know that they're an active part of your life. They want to
Mhm.
know that they are accomplishing something because that helps them to go and grow and be able to develop their mental skills, their physical
Yep,
skills, everything on the entire spectrum. And I
right.
want to make sure we got all the myths in. I didn't know if you had any more myths there or not to you want to discuss.
I do have a few more. Another
Okay.
one is that they won't have access to extracurricular activities.
Hmm.
And I mean, maybe not so much. I don't really know if homeschooling has like sports teams. I really don't think they do.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, there's a lot of sports that you can do outside of school that a lot of people in public schools do.
Hmm.
But it kind of plays a role with, your schedule's open. You can do whatever you want. You can go to
Yeah.
the zoo. And some curriculums do have field trips that you go on. So
Oh, yeah.
there's that too. You do go
Yeah.
on field trips.
So the thing to do for a person that's considering homeschooling is to just do the research. Number one,
Yes,
start with the state laws. Okay, know what the rules
definitely.
are before you get involved,
Mhm.
and then check out who else is homeschooling, and just pick their brains.
Yep.
Just pick their brains because homeschoolers, uh, it's been proven, and Howard mentioned this. I don't think we were on the air when he mentioned this. He was either, I think he mentioned it on our radio show. Howard
Mhm.
says that homeschoolers love to help other homeschoolers answer their questions, get started, whatever. So there's a lot of help out there. And the more research you do, the more comfortable and well prepared you will be when you get ready
Mhm.
to go, and start this project, because it it's very important to be able to be properly prepared and have the confidence.
Mhm.
Because if your kids see that you don't know what you're doing,
They're gonna be just as
okay,
lost. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I
They're gonna
love
be
what you
just as
said there
lost.
about the short period of times, because you can break it up, you know,
Mhm.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Give them a break.
Customize it. It's your schedule.
Yeah, because each kid is different, as you very well know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, because in that way you'll be able to, connect the kids' learning capacity and their ability with the time frame. And
Right.
if it gets long or goes longer than their capacity to concentrate, it's going to get boring, and then it's going to become a chore or something they
Yeah.
dread.
And then they can get frustrated too.
Oh, yeah. Kids can get
Yeah.
frustrated very easily.
Really easily. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Howard was teaching something too about, let me see if my notes here. I might have wrote 100 words a minute, but I can't read them all here. Uh, he was talking about, one example he gave I loved. He says, why is it when we're going down the road, we're traveling 70 miles an hour, it's like we're watching a movie in our mind. We can see the
Yeah.
road sign. We can see the other cars. We can, listen to the radio or have earplugs in, talking on the phone, whatever. We can handle all
Mhm.
this. But yet, when we come down to reading, that's a disconnect. Now, I'm going to give you guys a tip on that. What he said was pick up any book that you've never read before. In the first chapter, just read it like you normally would, because we've been taught in school the traditional way normally is read the words out loud.
Yeah.
And that was for the teacher to know that you were reading the words, or you could
Yes.
read. And he says, don't read the words out loud. Just read it, like you normally read anything,
Mhm.
but do it for 1 minute. Put a stopwatch on it. When that 1 minute's up, take a little pen or pencil and mark where you're at. Then go to the second chapter. And then all you do is put your fingertips like this underneath the words that you're reading, and bring it back, and just move your fingertips only as fast as you can read and understand. And when that minute's up, mark that. Then
I'm gonna have
count the
to try.
words. Yeah. Then count the words that you actually read during that 1 minute normally, and 1 minute with your hand being your guide. Then go back and reread the first chapter that you read normally, and start the stopwatch again and do it with your hand, and keep reading until it goes off, and then see how far. He says it's anywhere from 20% or more increase the very first time. And
That's
his
pretty great.
yeah, and his tip about going to back and read the questions, that'll trigger the mind when you come to it. Oh, okay, this is what the writer wanted me to know, so this is important.
Right.
And
That's a
that
very
would,
smart
yeah,
technique.
that'd definitely reduce the frustration level, huh?
For sure.
Yeah. Do you want to carry? I tell you what, let's take a brief commercial break with a 6 minute webinar, and we'll come back right after this brief message with another myth or two, and we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, right after this, from a wonderful friend of ours, Angel Marie Monticelli.
Hi, I'm Angel Marie Monticelli with Angel Marie Shines, and I had the pleasure, the honor to go through training for the 6 minute webinar. Oh my gosh, this webinar and how it's structured and how they teach it. Thank you, Speakers Pathway Coalition. Thank you, Don McGrath, and the whole team for the 6 minute webinar, because you made it so simple, easy. And the way you lined it out with the outline, I can reproduce it and reproduce it. And I'm already getting the engagement. I'm getting people that coming back that are saying, oh, I love this webinar that's so short, so to the point, and I love your products and what I'm selling, but then what I'm also the services that I provide, and I do for any of this because I have the framework. So thank you so much to the whole team, because the 6-minute webinar totally rocks. Thank you.
And I want to give a personal thank you to Angel Marie Monticelli for doing that commercial for the 6-minute webinar. She is a wonderful lady, a fantastic speaker. She's a keynote speaker. And one of the things that she shines at, if you have an event coming up and you need to get some people excited or keep them focused, Angel Marie is the energy lady. She can do that. We were up in Colorado Springs back in January 2019, excuse me. I knew 19 was in there somewhere. But we were up there and I was the MC. And then she got on stage and she wanted to do the Shine On movement. She's got a song and all that. She's got a dance. And we all got up and the energy was flowing. Everybody's having a good time. And I looked over there and one of the guys, Bill Heinrich, good friend of mine, I don't know what he was doing, but I looked at him and then I started cracking up because it looked like he was doing a cross between the Boogaloo and the Watusi or something. But I mean, she really has a lot of energy and she really gets people, keep them focused, because a lot of people in an event, they just simply start fading away on you and drifting into, outer space or somewhere. And she is fantastic at that. She lives in Phoenix, Arizona. She's a personal friend of ours here at the 6-minute webinar here at the TV station. And she does a fantastic job. And one of the things too, I was thinking about when we were on commercial break there, homeschooling is a great advantage when people have to relocate.
Definitely.
Oh, you think about kids, I mean, having to be ripped up. I changed schools in the 9th grade. And I know a little bit how that feels. I mean, I wasn't mistreated or ignored or anything. They just looked at me like, who's this guy? He don't look too smart, But I mean, a lot of kids, they experience a lot of peer pressure, they withdraw socially. It's a lot of pressure on them. And when they're that young, they don't know how to handle pressure like we do as adults. I mean, if someone looks at me and says, I don't like that guy. Okay, no problem. Have a nice life. We'll see you later, maybe down the road, 40 years or something. But, but with kids, their learning cycle is not interrupted. And because a lot of times I've heard some parents complain over the years where their kids were in a great school, making great grades, and they move somewhere, and then they're in a substandard school. They're put in a class where the kids they're just not up to speed. And that's a huge disservice for the kid. It really is.
It is.
And I imagine you in your lifetime, you probably have known some kids come to school and they're new there, and the pressure they feel, and it's they got to start over from scratch.
Yeah,
new
and
friends.
you can definitely tell when they're new.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
quiet. I don't think I've changed schools in the middle of the year, but I can only imagine how they felt, because even on the first day of school at a new school, I was like, questionable.
Oh yeah, because it's intimidating at
It
first
is.
for kids. It really is. And sometimes as adults, we forget that. We just say, "Oh, just going to school, and you're going to love it." I mean, it's just like I tell the joke, or it's not a joke, it's truth. How people will tease, or not tease, but lie to their dog, the male dog. They're going to take the male dog up to the vet, He's going to be neutered. They're going to say, I'll make it, like I said, it's going to be a party. Everybody's going to love you. They're waiting to see you and all that. And you go pick up the dog. Did you have a nice time? The dog's thinking, well, no. I mean, they stuck me with needles.
Is
They
this
put me
fun?
to,
This is what's fun to you?
yeah. I mean, this was, so that's why when you get ready to take them to the vet, they already know you're going to lie. Okay.
Yeah.
And they know that's going to be a train wreck. So that's why I get a kick out of watching some of the videos of the people that take a video of their dog. They're all happy riding in the car and get to the vet, say, oh, I know this place.
Never mind.
Yeah. This is not fun. And we were talking about making learning fun. And you had another myth there, didn't you, or two? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was another one. It's that homeschool families are all the same. And just like outside of school, all families are different.
Oh, yeah.
Families don't homeschool for the same reason. The reasons are, there's a whole many amount of reasons why people choose to homeschool. And everyone homeschools differently. So you can get different ideas from other people as well.
Sure. I was just thinking about that. It just popped in my head as you were talking. I would imagine that, of course, homeschooling is on the rise.
Yes.
People are wanting their kids to have a good education. They know that they can get a better education being homeschooled. That's been proven over and over and over again. But can you imagine in a neighborhood or close by, if 3 or 4 parents are homeschooling and one's really good in one thing and one's really good in another thing, they could actually switch off in training.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd be fun for the parent too. It'd be the kids would go out and have fun and they learn each other, socialize with each other.
Too.
Oh, yeah, because everybody has their own gifts and things of that nature. That would be a tremendous advantage in homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that just popped in my head, but it did.
No, it's a valid point.
Yeah. And it's just amazed me because when you think about homeschooling, and we had Howard Berg on the radio program, and when he was sharing all that information with me, that's when I said, hey, we got to have Howard on the TV show because the man is that good.
Yeah. He taught me stuff.
Oh, me too. You remember me and Tanya were on the show there Monday, and he said, before this show's over, he says, you're going to be a lot smarter.
Okay.
I can handle that. I can live with that, okay? I teased him. I says, well, am I going to be better looking too? And for some reason, they both just started laughing. I don't know why. I could ask. All they can say is no, right? And they were right with their no. But he was talking about, how easy it is to shift your mind and be able to focus on how to learn. I don't think that was anything I was ever taught in school, how to learn.
They just teach you their way.
Yeah. That's just like kids in college nowadays. And I'm going to flash back a little bit to last week for your new viewers because you're in for a treat. For 5 days, we had Rennie Gabriel. We know in college, kids have a huge student loan. And guess what? All of the college courses they take, whether CPA, you name it, anything to do with math, nobody teaches them how to get out of debt. Nobody even teaches them how to balance a checkbook. What does that tell you? And last week, I think you saw most of Rennie's show last week, didn't you, Mikayla? Oh, I had a chance to bring Rennie Gabriel on, and it's on our YouTube channel. If you go on YouTube, just look for Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. And I've got Get Out of Debt and Create Wealth. It's 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Roman numerals I used. And my goodness gracious, Rennie teaches some things that the financial gurus, they don't teach. Rennie says you can't, all they tell you to do is pay off your credit cards. He says, if
Yeah.
that's all you do, you'll always be, even if you get it accomplished, he says, you can, but you'll still be broke. He
Yeah.
says, the secret of it is to pay yourself first. And he went through, I'm just giving you a 10,000 foot view here. He went in now, you take 80% of your income and you live on that. You pay your bills. And the other 20%, you set 10% aside for emergencies and 10% aside for investments. Just pay the minimum on your credit card. Okay. And he said, pay off the smallest credit card first, smallest
Mhm.
amount, because it gives you a sense of accomplishment.
That you can
And
do it. Yeah.
yeah, and because Rennie comes from a school of hard knocks. When he was 35 years of age, Rennie was flat down broke. He was walking down the side of the road anywhere he could find aluminum cans and plastic bottles. He'd pick up stuff and take it to the recycling center to sell it. So he would have enough cash in his hands to buy groceries to feed his kids. So on the
It's crazy.
TV, yeah, on the TV show, Mikayla, when I said Rennie came from the post side of town, Rennie
Literally.
came from the post side of town. And nowadays, Rennie is a multi-millionaire. And I am so honored and blessed to have a great friendship with Rennie. And we're going to do some things in the future down the road. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. So wealthonanyincome.com is Rennie's website, because there's a lot of people out there who are instant homeschooling. They're also interested in how can I get out of debt and create wealth. That kind of, with family monies and kids' education, kind of goes hand in hand. So
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to share that with you.
That's
And,
definitely something that needs to be taught because that's not taught in school.
oh yeah, absolutely. They're just kind of like it's, it's assumed that you will know that, you will learn that, and all those wonderful things.
Right. Mhm.
And Mikayla, when you're teaching your kids something, what have you learned? What went well, or lessons learned, or what has your kids taught you? Let me ask you that question, be the better one. What have your kids taught you about how to teach them something?
Well, I've learned that they're not all the same.
Mhm.
That should be a given, like, attitude, personality wise, but learning,
Mhm.
I've seen firsthand that they do not learn the same.
Mhm.
I've learned their attention span is very short.
Mhm.
Even when they do want to learn something, it's very, very, very short.
Mhm.
I've learned that you have to explain differently to every child.
Mhm.
Some are visual, some are more hands-on. You just have to modify to how they learn best. I've also learned that I'm not cut out to be a homeschool parent.
Mhm.
And I think that in itself will lead into the few things to consider if you're considering
Mhm.
homeschooling,
Yeah.
to think about.
Yeah. Because that reminds me, because you were telling me, because I know you got 6 kids, and someone says, well, 6 kids, she's not really interested in homeschooling. I can understand that. But you
No way.
follow a lady she's a preacher's wife, I think you said. She's on
Yes.
Instagram, and she has 6 boys. And
Yes.
there's mothers out there thinking, oh my goodness, 6 boys and she's homeschooling them. This is a train wreck. And
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you've seen her share or discuss or go ahead.
She homeschools, so she has 6. 2 of them are kind of younger, so she only homeschools 4 of them.
Mhm.
But she also does it like a religious side of it too. So she adds like, Bible study into it.
Mhm.
But I really don't know how she does it or
Mhm.
have the time to do it on top of everything else that she does. But her kids are really smart. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine. I mean, splitting up that time between all the kids too,
Mm.
I wouldn't even be able to do it.
Yeah. She's
I don't even
very
know how she
gifted.
does it.
And
Oh yeah.
people like that who have got skin in the game, they got experience, they would be go-to people to find
Mhm.
out if homeschooling is right for you. And again, we want to emphasize, be sure and check with now this here in the United States, for folks over in India and Pakistan and different places of the world, I don't know what the laws are there or whatever. I mean, just check in with, just be prudent and do the research. But my goodness, being able to homeschool your kids and knowing that they are being taught at a higher level than's available in the public schools. Most importantly, you can control homeschoolers. This is another huge advantage. You can control what they're being taught because
Yes.
there's some things that some subjects, for example, parents don't think, well, my kid doesn't need that. My kid needs this. Well, in a curriculum in a public school, there may be parameters there where this is a prerequisite course or whatever. But homeschooling gives you a lot of flexibility there. And
Yes.
I tell you, we're really looking forward tomorrow for Howard Berg to be on again because Monday was on reading and now Thursday's going to be on writing. Yeah. And I was teasing him, I said, you got any R for arithmetic? He said, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do, but
He has it all.
oh yeah, he really does. And did we get through all the mystery that you had there, Mikayla?
We did. A lot of them
Mhm.
kind of played hand in hand with each other.
Mhm. Yeah.
They did.
And the thing too about homeschooling is that it's in a controlled, relaxed environment.
Which is really
Because,
important.
yeah, we were talking yesterday about some of the things that hinders learning in school. And one would be like bullying or peer pressure.
Hmm.
Or kids, kids may, all kids, I mean, we all fall in this category to some degree. Oh, if one of our friends says something funny about a kid, we'll laugh at that kid. And
Right.
that puts extra pressure on the kid. Yeah, oh, he's a dummy or she's a dummy. Yeah, ha ha ha. I'm not a dummy. The the, the way that child was taught was not on the same level of their learning ability. That's where the
Right.
disconnect comes because I go back to that little kid was and suffered from ADD, and that just blew me away, ladies and gentlemen, because this child was told the best you'll ever do is be a greeter at Walmart. And oh my goodness, did she make a liar out of them? And I say, way to go,
Right.
little girl.
Proved them
Way to
wrong.
go. Yeah. Think how that child, and I don't know, that's the type of stuff we should see on the
Hmm.
news instead of all of the
Oh, yeah.
negative stuff that vomits on society. Uh, that's a tremendous story. She's got $1 million book there in her hip pocket. If she writes it about my story,
Yeah.
I went from being
It's
told I was going to be a
inspiring.
greeter at Walmart, and here's my master's degree. Of course, she'd have a much better title than that, but that would be the content of the book. But I mean, she suffered from ADD and Howard's technique and this is important, understanding the technique of how to teach an individual kid, as Mikayla's been talking about. She got 6 kids. They all learn differently.
Hmm.
Attention spans go from this much to that much to this much to that much to,
It depends on the day.
depends on the day too. Depends on the day. So that has a lot to play with because putting kids in the same trough to eat from, like a farmer
Hmm.
will just put all the slop in one trough for all the pigs to eat from. They don't have a choice. Some kids can handle most of that stuff. Some kids can only
Right.
take a little bit of it, and some kids are go, ugh, I don't like that slop, and they're out
Mhm.
of here. So that's why there's such a disconnect in the in the school system I went through. I know it's changed since I went through because a lot of things have changed since I was a kid. But my point being is that you can't treat each kid the same. They're not. They're
Mhm.
individuals. One may be interested in art. You could be able to expand their education
Yes.
and do it with reading and with arithmetic and things of this nature and use that natural God-given talent that they have, the desire to learn and go with that.
Yeah.
Another kid may be good with arithmetic. Some kids may be good with history, may find history interesting. Some of them may find, things like science interesting, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell the joke. This true story. When I was a junior in high school, I don't know who the Einstein was that came up with this bonehead idea, but right before lunch, I had the class where biology.
Hmm.
Who in their sick mind dreamed up that we should dissect frogs right before lunch? All of them things stuck. They were ugly. Oh my gosh. I mean, and then we go in there and they got, tuna fish or something. You're going, I don't think I want any of
Ew.
that. I mean, dissected, and everybody dissected frogs. Everybody I've known, not just my school, but all over the United States. I'm going, who is the sicko that came up with that one? I mean,
Yeah, we had to
yeah.
dissect pigs.
Did you really?
Yep.
Oh.
And we had to dissect owl poop. Yeah, we had to dig out all the little bones and like create a little animal out of them. And guess what they ate?
Yeah, wow.
I think the pig was the worst part because, I mean, I like bacon, but it was a baby pig too.
Oh, poor little
Yeah.
thing.
I know.
Yeah, because baby pigs sure are cute. And
Yeah.
we're getting down there. We got about 7, 8 minutes left, and this time has really flown by. And I've really enjoyed having Kayla here. This is our first time hosting with us here on the E.23 TV network, the Messages of Inspirational Stories. We're so glad that she was able to join us today. Also, she does our social media behind, and when she came on the camera and in the studio and looked at me, she says, "Hey, we're wearing the same colors." And I said, "Well, I guess I got the memo, or either that or the mental."
We think alike, yeah.
Yeah, the mental. And I know
Mhm.
Donna Gainwell is back there laughing at us right now, but that's okay. I'll get over it, Donna. Go ahead and enjoy a good laugh because we're going to be together tomorrow and Friday, me and Donna. And but getting back to schools the traditional way, a lot of kids. One thing's always amazed me is that kids, like I don't think he'd mind me using his name. I won't use his name. Well-known athlete who played on a team that I really like. I follow this team. They play football, okay? And I couldn't imagine how could he go all the way through high school, all the way through college, and he couldn't read. Well, he couldn't read. I mean,
Wow.
as you cannot read. How did you even get through anything?
Yeah.
And the sad part of it was, I heard him saying this. He says, the schools and the colleges, because he was such a great player, they carried him.
That's true to
and
this
after-
day too.
Yeah, and after his career, one of the things that he wanted to do with his life was be able to sit down and learn how to read.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
that says a lot though. I mean, I'm sure he made a lot of money,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he still wanted to learn.
He
One
still wanted to
basic-
learn how to read, and I mean, goodness gracious. And in my day and time, back in when I started going to school in the early mid '50s, if you were dumb, they didn't promote. I mean, they didn't graduate you and let you go going up to the next grade. You were held back.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was. So that was an incentive to me to at least give it an old school try, because I didn't want to be, especially if you had a teacher that you didn't like. Ooh, oh, that's a super incentive there. That's like a rocket fuel there for you to
That makes
get
the
going.
class 10 times longer and harder.
Oh yeah, it sure does. But it's just pitiful that a lot of people in the public schools today, and I'm not knocking public schools, I'm just telling the truth, that some of the public schools out there, the kids, they come out and they just don't have a good level of reading. They truly
Yeah.
don't. And that's such a huge disservice to them. And when they try to get, because a lot of the good colleges, you got to have a real high grade and maintain a high
yeah.
grade to get in there.
You have to, I think, I know in math, I don't know about reading, I think you have to take a test. I don't know if you have to test into the classes, but
Yeah.
I mean, you read every single day, so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because being able to pick up a magazine or an article or something like that of interest to you and you can't read, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And you graduated from college thinking about the player, the pro player who played for many years and asked him after he retired, what's the one thing you want to do? He says, I want to learn how to read. And I just saw up here, we have a comment here, and you have to take a reading test for college too. Oh my goodness gracious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I took one, but that was like years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Donna Guinois, she's making sure that I behave myself today. She's sitting there laughing at me. We have a lot of fun, and because we're all family here, and because here at E360 TV, what we do here on this particular network, all the good shows here are quality shows, and all the hosts, we all know each other, we help each other. And the reason I mention that, that's applicable in all areas of your life, whether you're in business, whether you're a publisher and a producer and host like I am. But my point being, surround yourself with people that can help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And if you're a homeschooler, and be willing to start a blog. Share your homeschooling experience out there. This is what went well. This was a big lesson learned here. This
It'll
almost
help a
turned in.
lot.
Yeah, it really will because when people are looking at becoming homeschoolers themselves, we really encourage them here to, reach out to others, people who have got skin in the game.
Hmm.
That's the key. That's why I'm so high on Rennie Gabriel from last week. Get out of wealth, get out of debt, and create wealth. And so high on Howard Berg because both of these gentlemen, they have skin in the game. They care about you and also your children to make sure because they delight. Just think about, I'm going to ask Mikayla this here. You already know the answer, so don't worry. Just think about the joy and the jubilee and Howard Berg felt in his heart to take that one little girl who was told, well, honey, all you'll be able to do is be a greeter at Walmart and see her excel and get a master's degree and earn it.
I know.
This is not a token master's degree. This is something she earned. Can you imagine the joy and the jubilee? And he's got, what did he say? I forget how many thousands all over the world. I mean, my goodness gracious. His courses have been translated in 109 languages. And let me put the little ticker tape up there. We're getting ready to close, ladies and gentlemen. But if anything we've said is encouraged you to take a look at it, or you got a question, or you might say, I've been thinking about that. Start with Mr. Howard Berg. Now, let me humbly say that we do not have any financial arrangements between me and Howard at all, or the TV station, or E360 TV, or anything like that. Howard came on here, and he didn't pay anything, and we don't get anything if anybody buys. So there's no reason other than the goodness of our hearts to share great information, because that's what we do here on the TV show. And Mikayla, I'm glad that you had the right color on today. And
I'm glad to.
oh yeah, and we're so glad to have you on part of our team on behalf of Donna and myself and all the folks here at E360 TV. It's really an honor to have you working with us in our social media, and also filling in every now once a week, hopefully, being a host with us, and because you've got so much value to bring to the TV show, the audience, and all that. And ladies and gentlemen, our time is up. Remember to love yourself first, then you can love others. Most importantly, be sure to go to our YouTube channel, Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. You can see Howard's show, part 1 from this past Monday, and you'll see why I wanted to share so much information about him. And the week before is Rennie Gabriel's Get Out of Debt and Create Wealth. There's 5 parts to it: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because I know that I know that I know, excuse me, that there's someone out there that says, hey, I got more month than I got money, and I would learn to know how to get out of debt and create wealth. Rennie Gabriel is the guy for you. And it's almost 4 bells by the clock on the wall here Central Time, and we want to thank you so much for tuning in. And Mikayla, I'm going to let you say a few encouraging words on our way out.
I just want to say that if you think homeschooling is right for you, go for it. Don't let fear stop you.
Amen.
And, just you got it.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day or evening whenever you're seeing this or when you get a chance to catch us on replay. Take care of yourself. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same station. Me and Donna will be here with Mr. Howard Berg of Berg Learning. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.